Good morning, Linkon, and hello, hunters. My name is Mira, and this is Lad's Latest, the latest on Love and Deepspace. Today we're going over our weekend recap, where we go over everything that happened over the weekend that you may have missed. So, grab your favorite drink, and let's get started. Good morning, hunters, and happy Monday. I hope that you all had a wonderful weekend. I know that I certainly did. It's that time again. The surveys are up, and I'm going to be honest with you guys. This weekend recap is not going to be fun. I mean, it could be fun if you're super into a lot of text, but that is all it's mostly going to be. However, we're going to start with the dates and reminders, starting with the redeem codes, which end July 20th, which is this coming Sunday. Make sure that you've gotten all 3 of them so that you can get all of those free items. There is quite a bit this time, including a cute little headpiece. And then on July 12th started the heartfelt gift for Caleb, your yearly nostalgia. My hope is that this card is going to be happy for Caleb. However, if I've learned anything, they're very misleading. In fold, please give this guy a happy card. He deserves it. I just did Wayward Wonderland. You guys can check it out on my channel. And don't let it fool you. It's very sad. And then on July 21st is the Bounty Hunt double drops. The first 30 hunts that you do get the double drops. So make sure that you're doing them. I normally do them for the sand because that helps out quite a bit. And then on July 22nd, both Witnessed by Deepspace and the survey end, so make sure that you're completing all of that before the end date. And then on the 28th is the extra kitty coins that get dropped, so make sure that you're doing that. I'm a firm believer that the kitty badges and the kitty coins are a main contributor to affinities being raised, so I'm always excited when these drops happen. So make sure that you're not missing out on them. Caleb and Silas girlies, I'm looking at you. In news outside of the game, which is now starting to become a more frequent thing, the boys are going global. They're showing up in Paris and Singapore in 2 separate pop-ups. The one in Paris is going to host the Kitty Boys, and the one in Singapore looks like it's just a huge pop-up with a few different displays. And then there were 2 conventions. One of them was Anime Expo that hosted a outside display of all of the love interests. Anybody who's part of my community who did go to Anime Expo, I'd love to hear about your experience with this. I do plan on trying to go next year if they show up once again. I think it would be a lot of fun to just see the displays and experience it. And then I didn't know that this was a thing that happened last year as well, but the Billy World had their Love and Deepspace convention as well, and I know that we've seen a bunch of pictures and videos from it, and it sounds like everybody that went said that it was a huge improvement from last year. While it was still hot, the organization seemed to go a lot smoother. Anybody who's part of my community who also went to the Billy, I'd love to hear about your experience. I heard that the cosplayers were absolutely marvelous. I know that we've seen photos of them. The one who cosplayed Xavier was totally on par with Xavier, and I couldn't hear enough praise about the Caleb cosplayer. Bless his soul, he did a wonderful job and got heat stroke, and I feel really bad for him, and I hope he's on the mend because he did fabulous from what I saw. Next year, I will probably do a little bit more of a coverage on it now that I'm aware that this is something that happens. So count on that for happening next year. But this year, it seemed to go really well. Everyone seemed really positive about it, and I'm really excited that these things are happening now. I'm a huge fan of pop-ups and conventions and stuff like that. So I hope this just means that there will be more in the future where they show up. And I know that it's been a few weeks since we've seen this, but welcome back, schedule. So I have both the 2024 and the 2025 banner schedules that have happened so far. I also have the calendar that shows how long this last event went, which is witnessed by Deepspace. The reason I'm putting this up is because the dates and reminders, but also in this next week, we should get a new banner announcement. I suspect it'll start on the 24th, although of course it could always start on the 23rd, but it could be announced anywhere between July 19th and July 21st. I, of course, will continue to do my trailer reactions and banner breakdowns, so look forward to that. But just so that you guys can anticipate when that banner drop is going to happen, it's going to happen sometime at the end of this week. Now, on to the main attraction, the event survey. It ends on July 22nd, so make sure that you do that because it's coming up. I needed to make sure I moved out of the way also because I need to make sure that you guys know to answer honestly. Everything I'm about to tell you is only my opinion and my suggestions. My hopes in doing this sort of video is that it kind of gives you guys an idea, or maybe causes you guys to think of something that you may have missed on your own. Now, in return, you guys are welcome to put things down in the comments. I do save all of my suggestions and add on to them consistently and regularly. So if you guys have something that you didn't see on mine, I'm always happy to add it on if I think it's going to benefit. But if you're not sure where to do the survey, it is the little paper and pen all the way at the top of the screen. It does have a red dot to indicate that you should be pressing this, so make sure that you're doing it. Now, I'm not going over all of the questions. I'm just doing the ones that are the fill-in boxes. The other ones are just your opinion on satisfied or dissatisfied, and I can't really give any suggestions on that because that's really your own opinion. However, these are more in depth about the actual events themselves, and I'm hoping that maybe you guys might resonate with a few of them if you haven't already done the survey. I try to wait until I've done the entire event before I start doing the survey, which is why mine is so late. But we're going to go ahead and start with question 8, which was the Witnessed by Deepspace event. Now, when I do these, I always try to do things that I liked and things that I disliked. I think it's just as important to add the likes as it is the dislikes so that they're encouraged to continue to do what they've already done correctly. So some of the things that I liked was that these storylines felt cohesive and full, or coherent and full. It didn't feel disjointed from anything really. The kindled scenes and the voice acting have gotten exponentially better. Not just during the Witnessed by Deepspace event, but the mini game event as well. So those are the things that I really enjoyed. There wasn't really anything I disliked, but there was something that was kind of a bummer, I guess. I saw someone mention this as well, and I kind of agree with it, is that Raphael's story just kind of ended. I did enjoy it, and I felt like it was complete. But the rest of the guys kind of got a wrap up right after the kindled, and Raphael's just kind of ended at the kindled. And I wish there would have been some sort of wrap up at the end of his, like they go back to most studios. So that's really the only complaint I had. Other than that, I actually really enjoyed this event. I thought it was really well done. Someone else had said on the Reddit that this was a nice compromise between it being wedding and not wedding. It could have been construed as both, but I have to agree that it was a very nice compromise between the two places in the fandom of people, whether you wanted a wedding or you didn't want a wedding. I felt this was a great middle ground for that. Question 21 was a little more difficult for me to answer, so I did the best that I could. It included the AR function and the sleep function. I couldn't say much on the AR function because I don't use it, just straight out. I've used it maybe twice, but it was just to get rid of the red dot on the boys. So I don't really use it. So I didn't make any mention of the AR because I can't say that I can give it a fair assessment. However, on the opposite side, I use the sleep function all the time. I was a Secret Times sleeper, but now I am solely a sleep function sleeper. Silas is a great sleep companion. So I felt that I could make some assessments on that. Now, the positive thing is that the sleep function is a great addition to the game. I use it often and I fall asleep with it, no problems. Now, I know there has been a few mentions that maybe the boys talk too much or they're a little loud. That's not the case for me. I have slept through many a snorers, and snoring has become like second nature to hear at night for me. So, having the guys mumble a little bit doesn't really bother me. So I didn't mention anything about that on the survey because it doesn't. But just so you guys know that there are other people out there mentioning that the boys might be a little loud. So if you want to add in maybe a switch off for them to talking, then that's always welcome. Some changes that I would like to see to the sleep function, though, is an alarm. Or what could be super canonical and super cute is the boys waking us up. I found myself sleeping through many 20-minute naps, only to find that I'd been sleeping for an hour because the little chime that goes off when the timer goes off does not wake you up. And if I have both earbuds in, I can't hear my alarms. So that's kind of an issue. So just having some sort of alarm with the 20-minute or the timed function, or maybe the boys waking you up, could be super cute. But I do think that there needs to be some sort of louder alarm function to it if you're going to use your headphones with it. Secondly, one thing that I think would be really nice is to have the sleep function playing off with the screen off. I know that they have a little like screen saver, but I don't want my phone to fry up because I have the screen on all night. So I think a screen off or a background function would be really beneficial for this. Oh boy, did I have a lot to say about Echoes of Kali. Now you guys can watch my Battle Girlies Honest Opinion video about when I went through Echoes of Kali. I actually went through all of the battle systems. However, they specifically asked about the unicorn's operation. So I let them know. I started with the things that I did like. It was a really fresh take on the battle system already. The colors and brightness and the look of it felt really nice. Also, the functions were really cool. I really loved the different waypoints, the different endings, the different factions. I felt it really freshened up a lot of things. It freshened up the gear sets. The new mini games were super fun. So I actually really enjoyed Echoes of Kali. And I look forward to doing it more often, to doing the challenge mode and the hard mode and all of that. However, it also kind of made me sad. It should have been the improvement that Abyssal Chaos needed. It's a fresh take on the Abyssal Chaos already, and I'm really sad to see that Abyssal Chaos didn't get this update instead. Am I happy that Echoes of Kali exist? Absolutely. However, there's also a concern that this could end up like Abyssal Chaos as well. There is a cap for now. However, what happens when everybody reaches the end? Which is going to happen eventually. It's not going to be regrindable, and that's an unfortunate part of this system. Now, will I continue to do the system as I did with Abyssal Chaos? Absolutely. I'm still going to do Abyssal Chaos because my goal is to complete every challenge mode with every companion. However, once everybody completes Tana Kali and Abyssal Chaos, there's no reason to do it anymore. That's just the fair enough assessment of it. I would really love to see both of these systems get resets every 4 to 6 months, or however long it takes to complete the full series to the very end. I would really like to see them reset. Maybe they don't need new rewards all the time or new cool things. Maybe they just replace it with diamonds consistently. But I do believe that these systems need to be reset somehow. And if they're going to have Tanakali now, they need to do something fresh with Abyssal Chaos. Otherwise, it's just a system that's sitting here now. Nobody's going to use it. I mean, some of the new people will have to use it because it's a new function for them specifically. But any of the veterans, it's just sort of there now. So I would really love to see both of these get some sort of reset every few months. But that's my honest opinion on the new battle system. All in all, I did enjoy it. And we've made it to the last page. I know that there's a lot of words on here. However, I promise they're not that serious. This is everything that didn't fit under any of the categories in the survey. They're frequently ones that I put in on every survey unless they've already put it into the game. You're welcome to pause it to read everything. However, we are going to go over everything. I have 4 categories: battle, schedule, love interest, and etc. We're going to go ahead and start with battle. And of course, I have already gone over how I feel about the Abyssal Chaos. But there are still some things that I think could be beneficial for Abyssal Chaos. One of them, along with the 4 to 6 month reset, is swapping out Finding Tobias and Final Farewell and capping both of them. So on a 2-week rotation, you start with Finding Tobias. You give them the 2,000 cap, and then after 2 weeks, you swap it out again and you do Final Farewell, and it has the 2,000 cap. I think this could be really beneficial because if you're going to reset it as well, this allows it to last a little bit longer and makes it feel more fulfilling for everybody who's trying to get the rewards. They don't have to reset the items or anything like that. I just think resetting the rewards themselves, this way it could be beneficial and it keeps it kind of fresh because you're not going through the same one over and over again. 2 other things that I'd like to add are specifically for the bounty hunts. 1, I'd like to see more wanderers for the bounty hunts, and 2, I would like to see levels past level 9. So those are just 2 additions to those. I really enjoy the bounty hunts, at least when I have to do them. Right now I haven't completed some of the level 9s, which is kind of nice because I still have things to do then. But I'd still like to see more wanderers, and I would like to see more levels. Another thing I would like to see added is dungeons. I know that I've mentioned this to my girlies a lot, so they've heard me say this one a lot, but I am a dungeon girly. I love dungeons. I love to go through dungeons. And I think it would be a lot of fun to run around the N109 zone or Mount Eternal or Starfall Forest or Skyhaven or any of those with the guys. So I would really love to see dungeons. And before you guys say anything, they have dungeons in Infinity Nikki already, so it's not like they couldn't do it. We don't need to jump. I just want to run around. One thing I didn't add on here that I have spoken to my girlies about as well is I would like to fight against the companions. I know they just gave us companion training, however, that's fighting with them still. I want to fight against them. I want to punch Silas in the face, not because I don't love him, but I think sparring against him would be a lot of fun. I have brought this up to the Reddit as well, and a lot of people agreed with me that it would be a fun. However, one concern that come up is that we use our resonance as part of their power for us. But I think it could be kind of interesting to see what they could come up with for us to have our own power, however we use our resonance against them rather in conjunction with them. So I forgot to put that on my survey, but just so you guys know that that is something that I do want to see. So if that's something that you're interested in as well, you can put that on your survey as well. Another one is increase levels on no hunt zones. I just want more levels for no hunt zones. And then last, while I know that they've increased or put that hard mode in for orbital trials, I do believe that the normal orbital trials still need an increase in rewards, especially for the later trials and the harder ones up in the hundreds or even sooner than that, let's be real. But the higher you go, the more diamonds you need. And I'm a firm believer of that. So while we do have the hard mode, that does have increased diamonds and stuff like that, I still believe that if you're going to keep adding on to the normal orbital trials, you do need to increase the diamonds that people get later on in the trials because of how hard they are. Every 10 levels, especially with those dual companions that you need, you should be getting more rewards. So I'm a firm believer of that. The second one is schedule. The first one is for the main story updates. I would like to see main story updates every 4 months. 3 to 4 months. I think 4 months is acceptable. I thought the time that Death and Rebirth came out was a really nice stint of time between that and Homecoming Wings. I know that that's more Caleb's branch, but it is still part of the story. So I think that was about a 5-month stint. I thought that was pretty acceptable because that's when people were starting to feel like they wanted main story updates or some sort of story update. So I think for 3 to 4 months, maybe 4 to 5 months is acceptable when main stories should be updated. The second one is a little less for me because I could take it or leave it. However, I agree with the girlies who have mentioned this, so I do put it in my survey still because it is something that I believe in, and that's a rough schedule. I would really like to see a rough schedule at the end of every month. I don't want to know the themes of the banners. I really like the surprise of the themes, but I don't think it could hurt to either mention the featured love interests or the type of banner it is. So like solo, myth, multi. I know that it could help a lot of people schedule out how they use their diamonds. So I could take it or leave it, but I do see the benefit in it. So if they just put out a rough schedule, whether it was about which love interest or which kind of banner it was, it could be very beneficial for a lot of people. So I do put that in my survey. The last two are battle and schedule are a little deeper, but love interest and etc. are literally just surface level quality of life items. They're not meant to be taken seriously, but they're fun things that I think could be cool and add to the game. So love interests is Infold. Get real close. Infold. When are you gonna let me sit in the chair with the guys? Several of the gentlemen let me know that there's enough room on the chair. Why can't I sit with them? Let me sit in the chair with the guys, whether it's on their lap or with my legs across their lap or next to them. I don't care. I just want to sit with them. Make it a quality time. I don't know, but I would love to sit with guys in the chair. The second one is more environments outside of the cafe. I love Destiny Cafe as much as the next person, but wouldn't it be fun to go to the park? Or maybe the store? Or maybe sit in the love interest's house? I'm just saying, it could be a lot of fun. It would be kind of neat if they could put the weather as well or change the weather. Might be a little bit of a 5-head move, but more environments is for sure needed outside of the Destiny Cafe. And then moments. I know that occasionally we do get moments posts, however, they are few and far between. What I would really like to do is be able to post pictures and have the love interests respond to them. I really like when I can do moments posts and when the love interests respond to me instead. So I would really love to be able to do more posts with the love interests. So that's something that I would like to see. And then lastly, etc. Again, quality of life items, not really meant to be taken seriously, but they are things that I think could add to the game. The first one is tender moments. I think that MC should be voiced, not secret times, specifically tender moments. Tender moments are those little stories where you get to interact with the love interests. However, it can be played in the background, but you're only getting one side of the story. So I would really love to have MC's voice be in the tender moments if they're going to continue to let that be a background function. The second one is being able to interact with your friends list a little bit more than just stamina. No leaderboards or anything, no functions that could make it get weird or anything. But I just think it would be really fun to be able to interact with some friends. I don't really have any idea further than that, but I like to be able to hang out with my friends, and I would like to be able to maybe have moments posts with them or something like that. So just something more to do with the friends list would be a lot of fun. Speaking of secret times, I would also like to make a playlist of secret times that includes all of the love interests, or be able to make a playlist with multiple guys on it. I know that there's a lot of like apple crows or snow crows or harem girlies, and I just think it could be a lot of fun and really good quality of life to be able to make secret times into a playlist so that you can listen to multiple guys at once. And then of course, I know that a lot of people probably put this on their survey, but more mini games in the date section, specifically maybe past events and swapping them out. You can keep kitty cards and you can keep the claw machine, but I think adding one more game that is just maybe a swap out of different past event games would be a really nice addition to that. I know a lot of it's supposed to be dates with the guys, so maybe if they were more like the mini games where you actually interact with the guys, like the before sunset after vows one. I just think it could be a really good addition to the dates section, make it a little more fresh. I saw someone mention this next one and I thought it was a really good idea, so I added it to mine, which is we get a lot of extra plushies and we get a lot of extra kitty badges, and it would be really nice if we could do something with them. Right now they just kind of go into the ether, and I would really like to be able to maybe get more materials for them, not diamonds specifically, but maybe materials or some sort of item for them so that you can, or maybe like stamina, I don't know, but some sort of reward for turning in extra items so that you can get something else with them. Because right now they're just, you just get them and then they're gone. There's nothing, and it feels kind of bad, man. So I would really like to be able to do something with them. And last but not least, Infold. Again, get close. MC's lines need to be on screen longer for the kindled moments. I would like to read them. I voice over a lot of my stuff. I know some people that just read the cards, but they're hard to read when they go fast. And I hate bringing up the script because it breaks the immersion. So I would really love it if MC's lines stayed on the screen just slightly longer than what they do now. But that's the last of it. I did have additional feelings on Echoes of Kali. You guys can read through it, but basically just recapping what I said of I'm really sad about Abyssal Chaos and it feeling kind of left behind now. I really loved Echoes of Kali, but now there's no reason for people to play Abyssal Chaos, and it just really sucks. It feels bad for me. So that's just a little addition of what I've put down there. But we've finally made it to the end. Welcome to the end, you guys. Thank you so much for anybody who sat through all of that. I really do appreciate it. If you saw anything or didn't see anything that I didn't put, because obviously I didn't put it, go ahead and feel free to put it down in the comments. Remember to keep it constructive. I know that there are a lot of frustrations with this game, and there are a lot of people who are frustrated with the game. However, getting angry, throwing expletives, anything like that is not going to be helpful. So I'd love to hear what you have to say about in the survey, the quality of life improvements that you'd like to see. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe to the channel. I'd really love to see you guys around. I also have an Instagram and Blue Sky where I post nearly every day. I also do LaDs latest every Monday with a weekend recap, and whenever there's any kind of news. I love news. I love giving news on this game, so you guys can always look forward to that. I also do banner trailer reactions and event breakdowns for that as well. I also stream every Tuesday at noon PST, both on YouTube and Twitch. However, my YouTube seems to be a little more active, so if you guys want to stop by, I would love to see you guys around. But until then, I hope that you guys have a wonderful Monday. Have a wonderful, great week. I will see you tomorrow on Tuesday for our stream. We are going over Savior's Promise, and then we are doing some story and Senior Hunters contest. So I'd love to see you guys there. But that is all. So, as always, stay safe out there, hunters.